There is a ghost that haunts the hallways of your mind. It is not a supernatural spirit, but it is just as powerful and just as real. It is the ghost of a conversation, a memory, a face. It is the ghost of them. Them could be an ex-partner whose absence feels like a physical wound. Them could be the colleagues you imagine are judging you, or the family members whose approval you desperately seek. Them could be the person who wronged you, whose actions you replay over and over again, searching for injustice that never comes. You replay their words. You analyze their actions. You live in a constant looping film of what if and if only. They are not physically present, but they occupy every corner of your mental space. They live in your head, rent-free, and they have redecorated the place to their own liking, filling it with anxiety, regret, and obsession. This isn't memory. It's a siege. Your mind is no longer your own. It has been occupied by a foreign power, and this occupation is exhausting. It drains your energy, it steals your focus from the present moment, and it prevents you from moving forward into your own future. If you have ever felt this way, if you have ever felt like a prisoner in the theater of your own mind, forced to watch the same painful film on a loop, then know this: you hold the power to stop the projector. Viktor Frankl, a man who had every reason to be consumed by the ghosts of those he had lost, understood that the path to freedom isn't to fight the ghost, but to reclaim the house. He taught that the human spirit has the ultimate authority to decide who and what is allowed to occupy its precious mental space. Today we are going to learn how to exercise that authority. We will explore Frankl's profound wisdom on how to stop the obsessive thinking, evict the ghosts, and reclaim your mind as your own sovereign territory. This is not about forgetting, it is about freedom. But true freedom requires a declaration of independence. You must choose to end the occupation. So before we begin, I want you to make that choice right now. Pause this video, go to the comments, and write this powerful sentence: "My mind is my own." This is your reclamation. It is you serving an eviction notice to the ghosts. It is the first step in taking back your power. When you are ready, let us begin the process of reclaiming your home. Step 1. Annihilate the vacuum with purpose. Obsessive thinking, especially about another person, thrives in a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the human mind abhors one even more. If your mind does not have a clear, compelling, and meaningful mission to focus on, it will default to its easiest and most dramatic program: obsession. Your mind is like a powerful, restless guard dog. If you don't give it a job to do, like guarding the house or watching a specific perimeter, it will get bored and start chewing on the furniture. It will start chasing its own tail. It will start barking at shadows. Obsessive thinking is your mind chewing on the furniture of your past. You have been trying to solve this problem by yelling at the dog. You've been telling your mind, "Stop thinking about them, think of something else." But you haven't given it a compelling something else to focus on. You are trying to fight something with nothing, and nothing always loses. Frankl's first principle for reclaiming your mind is this: you cannot defeat an obsession by focusing on it. You defeat it by making it irrelevant. And you make it irrelevant by filling your life with a purpose so powerful that the obsession is crowded out. He called this the power of self-transcendence. The act of shifting your focus from your own internal state to an external, meaningful task. Think of it this way: you cannot hold two large objects in your hands at the same time. If your hands are full, carrying a precious, heavy load, you simply do not have the capacity to also carry a pile of garbage. Your purpose is the precious load. The obsessive thoughts are the garbage. For too long you have been walking around with your hands empty, making it easy to keep picking up the same piece of trash over and over again. The practical step here is immediate and decisive. You must give your mind a new job, a better job, a more important job than being the curator of the museum of your past pains. This is not about finding your one grand, lifelong purpose. It is about choosing a purpose for right now, for this week, for this day. Ask yourself, what is one meaningful project I can dedicate my mental energy to? It could be a project at work that you decide to pour your excellence into. It could be learning a new skill, a language, an instrument, a piece of software. It could be a physical challenge, training for a 5K run, mastering a yoga pose. Ask yourself, who can I serve? Obsession is a state of intense self-focus. Service is the antidote. Who in your life needs your help, your attention, your compassion? Your aging parent, your struggling friend, your local community. When you are truly focused on alleviating someone else's burden, you will be shocked at how light your own becomes. The key is to choose a purpose that requires your full attention, that engages your skills, and that aligns with your values. The more demanding and meaningful the task, the less room there will be for the ghost to roam. This is your first act of reclamation. You are not fighting the thoughts. You are reassigning your mental resources. You are telling your powerful mind, your old job of obsessing is over. You've been promoted. Your new job is to solve this problem, to create this thing, to serve this person. When you fill the vacuum with purpose, the obsession begins to starve. It no longer has the space, the energy, or the attention it needs to survive. You are not just closing a door on the past. You are opening a door to a meaningful future. Step 2. Exercise your freedom of choice. Now that you have given your mind a new positive mission, what do you do when the obsessive thoughts inevitably reappear? Because they will. The ghost will knock on the door. The old film will try to start playing. This is where the real battle for your mental sovereignty is won or lost. The second step is to understand and exercise what Viktor Frankl called the last of the human freedoms. This is the most powerful tool you possess. It is the freedom to choose your response to any given stimulus. You cannot control the fact that a thought about them will pop into your head. Thoughts are like weather. They arise unbidden. You are not responsible for the first thought, but you are, and always will be, 100% responsible for the second thought and for the action that follows. Here is what this means in practice. The thought of them appears. It is a stimulus. In the past, your response was automatic. You would engage with the thought. You would follow it down the rabbit hole. You would start the analysis, the regret, the fantasy. You would, in essence, open the door, invite the ghost in, and serve it tea. The freedom of choice means recognizing that in the tiny space between the thought appearing and you engaging with it, there is a gap, a moment of choice. And in that moment, you have the power to respond differently. Your new response is not to fight the thought. Fighting the thought gives it energy. As Carl Jung said, what you resist persists. Instead, your new response is to acknowledge and redirect. It looks like this. The thought appears, I wonder what they're doing right now. You acknowledge it, calmly and without judgment, as if you were a scientist observing a data point. You say to yourself, there it is. The thinking about them program is running again. Interesting. Notice you are not saying, oh no, I shouldn't be thinking this. You are not judging. You are not resisting. You are simply noticing. This is the act of the observing self we have discussed before. You are reminding yourself that you are the sky, not the cloud. Then, immediately, you redirect. You consciously and deliberately turn your full attention back to your chosen purpose, the meaningful task you identified in step 1. You turn your attention back to your work, back to your book, back to the conversation you are in. You bring yourself back to the physical reality of the present moment. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the pen in your hand. The thought might knock again. It will. So you repeat the process. Acknowledge, there it is again. The ghost is persistent. Redirect. Turn your attention back to your task. At first, this will feel like a battle. The ghost will knock 100 times a day, and 100 times you will have to acknowledge and redirect. This is the work. This is you in the gym of the mind, lifting the weights of your own attention. But with each repetition, something incredible happens. Your redirection muscle gets stronger. The gap between the thought and your response gets wider. You begin to realize in your bones that the thoughts have no real power over you. They are just noise. They are like a persistent telemarketer calling your phone. You can't stop them from calling, but you can choose not to answer the phone. Every time you choose to redirect your attention, you are casting a vote for your own freedom. You are starving the ghost of the one thing it needs to survive, your attention. Without your attention, the obsession cannot live. It will begin to weaken. The knocks on the door will become less frequent, less demanding. This is the heart of Frankl's teaching. You are not a helpless victim of your own mind. You are the one who chooses where to place the spotlight of your consciousness. Stop shining it on the ghosts of the past. Shine it on the meaningful tasks of the present. This is the second and most crucial step in reclaiming your mind. Step 3. Rewrite the meaning of the story. You have a new purpose to focus on. You have the tool to redirect your thoughts. But there is one final piece of work to be done. To truly be free, You must change the meaning of the story you are telling yourself about them. As long as you see the story as a tragedy, a failure, or an injustice, it will hold a painful emotional charge, and that charge will keep pulling your thoughts back to it. The third step is to use your power as the author of your own life to consciously and deliberately rewrite the meaning of that chapter. This is the essence of logotherapy, therapy through meaning. Frankl taught that we cannot change the past, but we can always change our attitude toward it. And by changing our attitude, we change its meaning. Right now, your story might sound like this: they left me and my life is ruined. It was a terrible mistake, and I will never be happy again. This story is a dead end. It is a story of victimhood and despair. It keeps you chained to the past. You must become a better author. You must find the meaning, the lesson, the gift in the pain. This is not easy. It requires a profound act of will, but it is the final step to liberation. Ask yourself these questions. What did this experience teach me about myself? What strengths did it force me to discover? What weaknesses did it reveal that I now have the opportunity to work on? What did this experience teach me about what I truly want and need in a relationship or in my life? The pain of this experience is a powerful teacher. It has given you priceless data about your own values. How can I use the wisdom I gained from this pain to be a better person in the future? How can my suffering be transformed into a source of compassion for others who are going through the same thing? This is the process of meaning-making. You are taking the raw, painful facts of your past and you are weaving them into a new narrative, a narrative of growth, resilience, and wisdom. Your new story might sound something like this: that relationship ended, and it was incredibly painful, but it taught me that my happiness cannot depend on another person. It forced me to develop my own inner strength and to reconnect with my own purpose. I am grateful for the lessons, and I am now a wiser and more compassionate person because of what I went through. That chapter is closed, and I am ready to write the next one. Do you see the difference? The facts are the same, the pain was real, but the meaning has been transformed. The story is no longer a tragedy, it is a hero's journey. This is not about lying to yourself or engaging in toxic positivity. It is about exercising your ultimate human freedom to find a redemptive meaning in even the most painful of life's events. When you successfully rewrite the story, the emotional charge dissipates. The ghost is no longer a terrifying monster haunting your house. It becomes a respected ancestor, a teacher from your past whom you can acknowledge with gratitude for the lessons learned and then allow to rest in peace. Let us bring these 3 steps into a clear, actionable plan. When you feel your mind being hijacked by thoughts of them, you now have a 3-part protocol for reclaiming your sovereignty. Step 1. The strategic response. Annihilate the vacuum by immediately engaging in a meaningful task or purpose you have pre-decided upon. Give your mind a better job to do. Step 2. The tactical response. In the moment a thought appears, practice the acknowledge and redirect technique. Notice the thought without judgment and gently but firmly guide your attention back to your chosen task. Repeat as many times as necessary. And step 3. The ultimate response. Engage in the deep, ongoing work of rewriting the meaning of the story. Find the lessons, the growth, the wisdom in the pain, and integrate it into a new, empowering narrative of your life. This is how you reclaim your mind, not by fighting, but with purpose, not with resistance, but with redirection, and not with regret, but with a redemptive reframing of your own story. Look one last time at the words you wrote in the comments. My mind is my own. This is the fundamental truth. The 3 steps you have learned today are the practical application of that truth. The past has no power over you, except the power you give it with your attention in the present moment. Take your attention back. Place it on your purpose. Place it on your values. Place it on the beautiful unfolding story of the life that is waiting for you. Right here, right now, on the other side of your obsession. The house is yours. It is time to come home.